big air setting unlike any we've ever seen before. Day 2 of X Games Norway takes us from inside the skate park to outside of the Obos Big Air venue as we welcome you to Men's Ski Big Air Qualifier just on the outskirts of beautiful Oslo, Norway. What's happening, world? Brandon Graham alongside X Games gold medalist Tom Wallish. And Tom, I hope you like Big Air because we got plenty for you today.
Oh, we do. I definitely love it, and this ramp is awesome. I was at the top of this thing earlier, and these guys are ready to throw down. Here's what we got for the day.
Yeah, taking a look at this list, just to give you an idea, we'll get to the format in just a second. 8 names, only 2 of these guys will be moving on to the final, Tom.
Such a competitive qualifier, only 2 of those 8, and that's tons of great guys. Alex Hall here, the only lone American in this event, is definitely somebody to watch. He's got some really creative grabs, unique rotations, and he's one of my favorites, I feel like, to come out of this qualifier.
But we can't count out a guy like Burke Rude.
No, another guy. This guy will do any trick you ask him to. Flipping, spinning, doubles, triples. Here he is on a scooter. I mean, I don't know if that's cool or not, but I like that he's trying.
And Felix Oosterud, who will be anchoring this group of 8.
Yeah, another guy that is just so competitive on the big air circuit. He's won his fair share of events. Looks like he's taping up his ankle there. A little ski cut on there. I'm not sure what's going on.
So the crowds are officially invading Obos as we just take these breathtaking views of this city and a scaffolding jump, no less. This is not something that we traditionally see out at X Games. Obviously, we've got a world-class jump of our own at Buttermilk and Aspen.
Yeah, definitely. This is a little different than Aspen, where it's all snow and made of snow. This one's made of full scaffolding, going all the way up there, 200 feet tall. Look how many scaffolding, like bars itself, it takes to build this ramp. Really nice, big, wide in-run. This is one of the better jumps I've seen of this build because they have enough width on the takeoff to do different gaps. That's the death gap there. They got a net in there to keep somebody from falling to their doom, but huge. I mean, 60, 70 feet, about the size you need to do any of those double and triple corks.
Now, this is a really interesting tip that we've started implementing into the X Games scoring system, having to spin both ways.
Yeah, so what it is, they have to spin 2 different directions, whether that be to the left and to the right, or taking off switch and landing forward, or taking off forward. So switch is going off backwards. So you're either going to have to do 2 different jumps, left and right, or forward and switch. And any of those to get your 2 best of 3 runs.
It's a pressure cooker. 8 athletes, 3 runs each. Again, in Aspen, as we take a look at our esteemed judging panel there, we're used to that timed format where these guys know they might get 4, even 5 hits in.
Yep.
You gotta put it out there, but if you go for broke right out the gate, you might already be playing from behind.
Yeah, it's tough. This format is tough because you can't just go for the craziest trick you've never landed or land every once in a while. You have to be calculated, you have to be smart, and you have to be able to put down tricks. You're gonna land 2 out of 3. That's 66, whatever percent. You gotta land consistently to make a statement out here.
And don't forget, these guys are just trying to get into the big show, the final later tonight, where they'll face off against guys like James Woods, Henrik Harlow, Oystein Broughton. There's a lot of skiing for whoever qualifies in.
So much talent left to go tonight, but starting it off here, this guy, I've loved watching him. He's done a couple city big airs before. Elias Syria, he's really talented.
Yeah, Elias Sirius kicking things off for us here. Day 2 of X Games Norway.
Whoa, right off the bat. Now, I don't know if anybody really caught what he did on the takeoff there. What makes that trick so special is he's grabbing safety, so grabbing the edge of his ski. Watch this close up. Off the lip. No one else is doing that in the event, spinning around a 3 into the 7, all the way around to 12. And just holding that grab. Literally took off the jump in grab position. No one else is doing that.
Yeah, that pre-grab. So is that something that the judges want to see, just showing it's so unique because no one else is doing that? Will it get scored accordingly?
More than anything, creativity. Part of the scoring is creativity and doing something different. So you got to go big. They're looking for progression, execution, difficulty, everything, but more than anything, creativity. If you're the only one to do it, wow, they love it.
Elias Syria, welcome to the X Games. A 37.66 in his first drop-in ever. Next to drop in, another X Games rookie out of Sweden, Hugo Berval.
This guy is very fresh to the skiing scene. He's more known for unique, stylish tricks and cool videos and being super smooth on his skis, but can also go out and do these crazy switch double cork 1440. Oh, and just going down there on the landing.
Hugo representing Sweden at the Olympics in Pyeongchang just a couple months ago.
Look at this set, goes for the tail grab, and looks like he just doesn't have quite enough time. So he's going for tail, kind of has to let go of it super early, lands deep in the landing, and then he's not quite able to hold on. There he is. He's got a couple more jumps though, but like you were saying, Brandon, I mean, now he starts off with a fall. You have to land the next 2 tricks, and they have to be different. It's a really tough format for these guys.
Yeah, it almost feels like the strategy is just to knock one out, even if it's a quasi-safety run, so you've just got it at least one side, and then you could take it to the max on your next 2 attempts. But we roll on here in eliminations. Up next, a Norwegian skier. I think the fans are going to let this guy here at Ferdinand Dahl.
Ferdinand Dahl, I can't wait to see what this guy has. He's one of my favorites to watch because he's so smooth. Rail tricks, jump tricks, everything. He's just got really, really good style and easy, simple. It makes it look like, you know, painless, or I don't know, like you could almost go out and do all these tricks.
How about the kit? I like the polo over the long sleeve.
He looks like he's going to play around a golf, maybe.
Here's Ferdinand Dahl.
Oh, going with the right side, double bio, double rodeo 1080. And oh, just going down. The hardest part with some of these scaffolding jumps is you only have so much time from the drop in to the landing to build the landing and the in run and the jump, that the landing comes from downslope to flat slope so quickly. Watch as he's riding out, he just doesn't quite get his hands in the right place, hitting that bottom of the transition there. Oh, it looks like he broke his pole, I think, on that one. Oh, and there's some of his friends. I think they're probably going to be disappointed. He landed it and then fell in the outrun.
What a bummer. The landing to the sweet spot, by the way, just about 72 feet, and to the knuckle is 60 feet. So keep your eyes on where these guys are landing.
Okay, up next we got Alex Hall, the lone American, which is crazy to me. For so much talented park skiers in the U.S., this X Games Norway event has people from all over the world with one American.
We've seen Alex at X Games 3 times before, but that was all in slope style.
Oh
my goodness!
Right off the bat, switch double cork 1440 with the seatbelt grab. Now that was cool. Check this out. Off the lid, switch 1440, and we call it a seatbelt grab. Let's slow it down. Look at him reaching over his shoulder, so it's like he's buckling the seatbelt in a car.
Aesthetically, he's 6'4". This is the tallest skier out here. That's something to be said for that, the way he's able to contort his body.
Maybe that's the extension. How he can get that grab is maybe those long arms. Really cool grab, and yeah, it's so hard as a tall skier like that to be able to keep your composure so well. I mean, any minute movement or flail is accentuated. So, wow, that is a high score. Good for him.
Massive score for Alex Hall, 45.66 in his X Games Big Air debut.
That's a high score, but with a lot of talent here. I'm not sure what we're going to see for a high scores. I think we're going to see a lot of the scores in the 40s, ending up in the total of 80, 90. I mean, you're going to need to land 2 really, really good tricks and make it in.
So here's a big air machine, Berk Ruud, out of Oslo, Norway. When we say the hometown kid, we mean it. 18-year-old Berk Ruud dropping in front of his hometown.
Here he is coming in switch, double cork 1440 with the tail grab, holding on, a little sloppy in the landing there, but managing to ride out of it. That was a nice one. I liked, so same trick we just saw Alex do, but the tail grab, one of my favorites to watch, is still a little bit more simple of a grab than the seat belt that Alex was doing. Slowing it down, switch, double cork 1440, misses it at first, but then he's able to lock it in, holds it nice and long, opens up for the landing, and then just a bit sketchy on this ride out, maybe a hand drag, definitely a deduction there. Everything has to be perfect with all these guys being so talented. Every little minute problem, little hand drag, little wheelie out on the landing, those are all going to be deductions, unfortunately. He's bumming. He looks a little bummed.
22.33 for Berk. He had a top 5 finish in Norway last year, finished in 6th in Big Air in Aspen just a few months ago, trying to get on that podium. But right now, he's got to qualify for the final. He's only got 2 more runs to do it.
A lot of pressure on these next 2.
Jesper Schotter out of Stockholm, Sweden, making his 6th X Games appearance yet to find the podium. His career best finish, 5th place, Aspen 2015.
Okay, let's see if he's gonna do what I think he is. And grabbing the nose off the takeoff, switch double cork 1080. We're gonna need that close up on the lip for that, you guys to see what's happening.
That was awesome.
Grabbing the tip, so I misspoke earlier. We're seeing 2 athletes in this qualifier now doing pre-grabs off the takeoff. Jesper as well, and look at the way he holds that grab all the way through, all the way out on the nose. Little bit of a hand drag, but just like Elias did on that first run, grabbing off the lip. These are tricks that a few years ago, that would have been a trick all of its own, and now he's grabbing off the takeoff on that one.
Did you know that Jesper had that pre-grab?
I knew that he had that, but I guess I had forgotten about it. I forgot that he had that trick. There's now 2 guys doing the pre-grabs.
Now the score there, 34.66. What can he clean up there? The hand drag?
I think the hand drag on the landing, putting a hand down. Other than that, I mean, that's a great trick. I think he's in that same range with Elias, who's landing that, same pre-grab 12, but those are just gotta be perfect these days.
Another Swedish skier, Oscar Wester, making his big air debut.
Oh, switch double Misty 1440 for Oscar. You're really wrapping that one up. So far, we've seen so many 1440s. It's crazy to me. Just years ago, these were like the winning tricks of X Games Big Air.
Well, and it's remarkable too. So many of these athletes in this qualifying field haven't even competed on the big air stage at X Games. Most of them come from the slopestyle background.
Definitely. These guys are just all so talented. It's so hard to stand out, and I think that's why the judges are going to be extra particular on the landings, on the grabs. Every little minute problem is going to get deducted, and there's a great score right there for Oscar.
Very solid for Wester, putting him up into that top 2 position, which is where you want to be when the dust settles, and all these runs are officially in the books. We're just getting started out here with run 1 officially in the books, and we move on to we have one final skier, Felix Oosterud. Getting behind, ahead of myself, the guy anchoring this thing, a guy that many of us expect to be in the final. What do you like about Felix Oosterud?
This guy's got a lot of talent and a lot of big spins. I mean, Norway, who's not rooting for him in the crowd today? And there it is, the double cork 1260 with the opposite mute grab. So that's a trick I don't really see anybody ever doing, just because the way the grab is tweaked slows down. He's got a Felix sign.
Yeah, you see the sign. Felix, one of 3 Norwegians in this field.
Oh, yeah.
Just textbook, Tom.
Oh, taking the rip on that grab, off mute. He's got a lot of fans there. He hasn't been skiing lately. I talked to him earlier, and he's just excited to be here competing for the hometown crowd. I mean, why wouldn't you be?
That's a great point. I mean, it was such a hectic event season when you include the Olympics and Pyeongchang for some of these guys. Now it's been a 3-month hiatus to get back on the hill. It's been a while since these guys have been in a contest.
It's 75 degrees out here. It's a beautiful day. You're not ready to be skiing. Oh, 40 for him. I love that grab, and I think the judges clearly love it too.
So we are 1 run in here at day 2 of X Games Norway. It's the men's ski big air qualifier, and it's the American Alex Hall leading the group right now with that 45.66. But remember, only 2 out of this 8-man field will be moving on to tonight's final. Well, more here from Obo's Big Air when we return. Run number 2 right after this. Thank you. Welcome back to day 2 here at X Games Norway. We are just getting started here with Big Air Ski Men's Qualifier 1 run officially in the books. And it is getting heated out here. Alex Hall, the lone American, set the pace with that 45.66. But we're moving on now. How about that kit, by the way, Tom Waller?
Wow. What is he wearing at the top? That's beautiful. That's got flowers all over.
Gorgeous.
Terry Mahalo.
So here's Elias Syria currently in 4th. If you're just joining us, only 2 will be moving on to the final.
Second jump, switch, 1440, tail grab. So Elias in the first run did the pre-grab. Here he is showing he can spin to win as well. Switch, 1440, capping that tail grab all the way around, landing smooth. First guy to run, and our first guy that's got 2 landed jumps today. Those are both gonna score well.
So Elias Syria in his X Games debut, one of the few guys not rocking poles out here today.
I guess I didn't even notice that. Yeah, it's kind of open-ended for these guys, poles or no poles, total style preference, and he looks like he's trying to make it easier to get those grabs, and it's a style thing for him. So first one was a forward left trick. This one was switch, so that counts as 2 different tricks.
Right.
So we got to remember that these guys have to do 2 totally different spinning directions. Here we go, a 35 again, adds up for a total of a 73, and it's a good score. I don't know yet what we're gonna need to get into the finals, but it's good to have 2 in the books, 1 run to just chuck it next round.
A natural left side spinner, Elias Syria jumping up into 1st place, but obviously we're still early here in run number 2. Here's Hugo Berval, currently in 7th place. And I should make a correction. I had mentioned during his first run that he represented Sweden in the Olympics. Incorrect.
I wish he, he might have wished he could, but
Yeah.
I don't think he did. And switch 1440 there. That was another beautiful, exactly the same trick we just saw from Elias, but this one going a little bit bigger, spinning to the right side and grabbing the tail, but not quite getting. So these judges are looking for perfection. Take a look at where he's grabbing the ski, grabbing not quite all the way up on the tail, a little bit of a toxic grab, we would call that, on the inside of the ski. And they really want to see you get all the way out there. So that's going to be some points off the total score.
And now for a guy like him who didn't land on his first run, don't let where he sits in the standings right here and now define where he'll finish, because he needed to get at least 1 clean run one way. And it might not have been the cleanest, but it was something to get some points on the board. Now he's really going to have to get after it on run number 3, a 37.
37, that's a good score. I mean, now he at least has something in the books.
Right.
Switch right side, he'll be spinning one of the other 4 directions for the next, and he has a chance to lay something big down. You gotta have 2 jumps, so it puts a lot of pressure. 2 of 3 is consistency. Really's gotta show off.
Here's Ferdinand Dahl, who was oh so close to landing his first run.
Here he goes, the double bio or double rodeo 1080, and gets the landing on this one. Nice and smooth. A lot of guys are doing double corks. This guy, check it out as he dives forward off the lip. So a little bit something different, sort of a double bio with the safety grab, rolling it around. And the last time he landed, he just right there, he kind of fell over on the landing, and this time he's able to ride it out real smooth.
So I have to ask this. Obviously, it's eliminations. It's a scaffolding jump. Could we potentially see a triple out here?
Oh, definitely. This evening in the finals, we're going to see some triples. I'm not sure about the qualifiers. I think these guys know they got to be consistent. They got to land 2 jumps. So whether or not we see them in the qualifiers, I'm not sure yet. Some of these guys are pretty crazy.
So a strong score for a 38. That gives him some breathing room and some real potential when it comes to that 3rd and final jump. Again, we're only counting those 2 best scores, and you got to be able to give us 2 different directions. And only 2 guys will be moving on to the final. I can't say that enough, Tom. We talk about cutthroat eliminations and how much talent we see every single year at X Games. This one might be the toughest.
I think it might be. I mean, 8 down to 2. It's just really tough to stand out and really show off everything. Alex Hall, again, the lone American, coming in forward, going for the left side double cork.
Hello.
Seatbelt grab, or he might even be doing an even more difficult grab. I gotta see this one in slow-mo. I saw him warming up, and he does seatbelt Japan and tail grab. Look at him, both hands on the ski. I've never seen that grab before in my life. Japan seatbelt, reaching over the body, grabbing tail with the other hand.
Alex
Oh my
Hall
God.
has the single highest score of the contest thus far, which he put down on run 1. Does he up that right here, right now?
I think that one combined with the first trick, that's gonna move him up into first place. That was a really technical grab. To go with that 45 that he's already got in the books, those are gonna be 2 good scores together. Gonna have to wait and see what the judges see. Very similar, he's spinning to the left in both tricks. He's doing a similar grab, but there we go, 47 for that one. The first time I've ever seen that grab.
Look at that reaction. That tells you all you need to see is his score comes across the screen.
Wow.
A demanding
Way up
93.32
into first
overall.
place.
Alex Hall.
Wow, way up there.
And
He is
again,
excited.
we haven't seen Alex Hall in a big air at X Games. We've only seen him
Ever.
in slope style, and he hasn't even had a top 10 finish. This might be his day as he's looking oh so close to getting into that final. Here's Burke Rude. We did not expect this guy to be in 8th place right now.
No, definitely not. One of the most talented guys here. Norwegian, switch 1440 with the tail grab. Gets that one. That's the one he went down on in the first round, or just slopped out on with the nose wheelie in the landing. Here he is, getting the grab, switch double cork 1440. And if anybody, Burke's one of the guys I would expect to see bring a triple cork out in the qualifiers. He's got lots of different tricks, and he's not afraid to spin to win and go for broke.
Yeah, and that's something that has to be discussed too. These guys are going for broken qualies just to get into the finals. They're putting tricks out there on the board here earlier today. Those 2 that move on to the final,
They're gonna
that's
have to
a
do
lot of skiing for those guys for a single day.
They're gonna have to do it all again this evening. Yeah, there he is, 42, stoked on that one. And then this third jump here, we might see the triple cork out of him. He knows you gotta go big and stomp to get just into the finals. He's not gonna hold anything back.
So here's Schotter, currently in 8th place, but that's obviously because he's the only one without a second.
Whoa,
Oh.
double cork 1620. Kind of missing the grab, and I think it threw him off a bit. This is not a massive jump, and this is a 1620. That's 4.5 spins, going all the way, wrapping it up, just trying to get the grab, just not quite putting it down. And this guy, I mean, he's got one more jump left, but man, if you haven't seen any of Jesper's videos, go onto the internet, search his name, check out Field Productions. He did a loop rail. Have you seen that, Brando?
Yes, I have seen that.
He did a rail.
Yeah, that clip
That
is
was a loop. It's
bananas.
outrageous.
Yeah.
Outrageous.
So here's Oscar Wester. He's currently in 3rd, put down that ridiculous 43.33 on run number 1. Something solid here could bump him up into the top 2 spot.
Definitely. Coming off the jump, forward double cork 1440 with the tail grab. So first round we saw the switch 1440, then he's switching it up because how the format works, he's got to spin 2 different directions. So this is forward. That grab was held very long, and check it out. So the judges love to see it all the way at the end of the ski. It shows the technical prowess and your comfortability with the trick itself. So being able to reach all the way out there, and I think that one's gonna score really well.
Really strong strategy from Oscar Wester, knowing that he
got a
got that
5?
first run.
I think that's is that a miscue? I think that was better than a 5.
Yeah, I didn't see 5.
There we go, a 43.
Yeah, all's right in the universe, and Wester jumps up into that vaunted 2nd spot, an 86.66 overall. He's got to be feeling great 2 runs in.
It's very weird to say that that 2nd spot is actually the bubble score.
Yeah, it really is.
That
Number
is
2, you're on
absurd.
the elimination line right now. So here's Felix Oosterud. Got a 40.
Oh, coming in, switch, double cork, 1440, mute grab, 2 tail grabs. So we've been seeing a ton of switch 1440s, and this one, I think is the first one we've seen where he does 1 grab and then switches to another grab. Really locking in the mute and then changing and showing that he can stop the rotation, take a second, reset, and it looks like maybe the tail grab, he just kind of was tickling a little bit. Playing a little tickle, making it laugh, I'm
now
not sure.
remember, this Norwegian we saw last year at X Games Norway 2017, he did land a pair of triple cork 1620s. We know he's got that. We'll see if he has to go for it here today.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, great first run. He's got a good score already. Okay, 31. I think they're docking him a little. They were able to slow it down and saw that little bit of a tickle. Turns out the judges don't like the tickle as much as we do.
No tickle monsters in the judging panel. So we are officially 2 runs in Here at X Games Norway, the men's ski big air qualifier, it is getting heated. The lone American in the field, Alex Hall, he was leading the way after one run, and he has got a commanding lead after two. Who's getting into the final? We'll find out after this.
Shadows hanging over, but wait, no, come closer to come and take me away. And I can feel my heart skip every time that I slip. I wanna run
Ikke stress meg, fuck it, ikke press meg. Jeg kommer hjem sent I kveld. Fuck it, ikke stress meg, fuck it, ikke press meg. Fordi vi tar det, fordi vi tar det, fordi vi tar det.
And it all comes down to this. Run number 3 here in the men's ski big air qualifier. And we reverse the order up. I like this from last to first to give you an idea on where we're looking. Alex Hall now in 8th, or the last person to drop in. He's on top of this dang thing with 2 of the single highest scores in the entire contest. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I think Alex has got to be feeling really good about getting into that final.
I think so. He's pretty much, I mean, 2 highest scores of the day. He's doing some of the most unique grabs we've seen and sitting pretty. So dropping 8th, he'll know whether or not he needs to step it up, or if he can just chill, we might see a fun trick out of him.
Yeah, and there's already a couple of guys, really a few, that have truly been eliminated, if you will, from getting into that top spot, but there is reason to believe that a lot of these guys could try to lock in for that second spot. Again, 8-man elimination, only 2 moving on, and that elimination zone right now is owned by Oscar Wester. He's in that bubble spot with an 86.66 overall.
Which is a great score. 2 43s combined to make that. Not a lot of guys have a single trick that's even that high. So we're going to need, for somebody to not come out, we're going to need to see somebody come out with almost a 50, almost a perfect score to get a high enough score so that their 2 combined totals could knock him out of that
But how
position.
impressed are you with our overall leader right now, Alex Hall, a guy we've seen at X Games, but only in slopestyle, never in big air, to put on the performance he has through 2 runs?
I love it. I love seeing that kid ski. He's so creative, and he's such a diehard. He's been skiing for like 10 months nonstop. I follow. You got to follow this guy on Instagram. He never takes a break. He posts a ski clip every day, I swear. So it's great to see him do well. And yeah, I mean, he is just dominating today so far.
Great look at the Obos Big Air venue as the fans are starting to file in here in beautiful Oslo, Norway. And yes, folks watching this at home, the weather is that good.
It is. And it stays light all day. All
Yeah.
the way until 9 or 10
By the way,
o'clock.
yeah, it's local time here. It's 3:30 p.m. It's going to look like that, what you're seeing on your screen, at like 11 p.m.
Yeah,
tonight
5 more
still.
hours
Yeah.
at least. It's part about being so far north up here. We're out near the Arctic Circle. Norway, it's beautiful, hanging out. There's the elevator. If you can take a look, you can kind of see the wind's blowing a little bit up top. I see those little flags. We saw a shot of Alex earlier, his hair blowing in the breeze. The wind makes a big difference, especially on one of these jumps where you're 200 feet in the air dropping in. If the wind's blowing, that'll slow you down or help you gain speed. Either way, it ends up causing a difference in your jump, whether you go too big or too small. So that's something these athletes are going to have to deal with. And
Winds?
I think these guys didn't maybe know exactly who was going to be dropping in the order. So
Right.
we got Jesper up there now, and we'll see. We were talking a little bit about the pre-grab. So him and Elias had both done a grab off the lip, which
Right.
is standing out. His switch 1080 was really good, but now he just needs to do a different trick, so he can't do that again.
Now, we know both guys have it. Did we think that we were going to see that from Jesper? Third and final run.
Whoa, there it is, the double cork 1620. That's the most spins we've seen so far today. And let's go back and take a look and see if he got the grab. Reaching back, he's getting it, but just kind of letting go a little early. And this jump is big, but it is not massive. This is a huge trick to be putting down. Gets the grab, kind of lets go. He's kind of doing what we said earlier, a little tickle me Elmo. And we'll have to see what the judges think about that.
We've seen so far the judges, they want to see that technical prowess. They want to see you get that grab and hold it all the way through. They're not giving out any free lunches here today. So he's sitting in 6th place, has that 34.66 that he did right out the gate. Obviously needed to replace that 5.33. Is it enough to jump him up into the top 2?
Definitely enough to replace that one, but only a 28. That's not going to be enough. He needed almost a 50 to jump up into that second position, so that was not
Jesper's
perfect.
day is over. And we move on to Hugo Berval.
I like the way he's got the sunglasses on, the music in. He's hanging out, having a good time. Going with the nose butter. Oh, and the double cork 1440. What a nice trick there. I saw him doing a bunch of these nose butters in practice. I think this is a new one for him. So he's coming off that lip, putting the nose down. We call that a nose butter because he's spinning just before the lip, putting pressure on the tips of the skis, and it's something that Henrik Harlow, our Swedish friend, has made famous amongst the sport.
So Hugo, just to put things in perspective, has a 37, trying to replace that 8. He would essentially need a perfect 50 or right underneath it to even get onto that second spot where Oscar Wester resides.
And that was good. That was a really cool trick. I have never seen him land that one in a competition before. I don't know if the judges, if it's going to be enough for a perfect score. Really unique. The nose butter, especially with that gap in the jump and making sure you don't catch up on the lip. just that takeoff is so much more difficult than others.
Yeah, so 34.66, solid but not spectacular, and that means he will not be moving on. Again, if this was a more traditional elimination, we're taking 6, 8 guys even,
Those would be
those
great.
scores might hold up. Not here, not today.
Here we go. We got Mahalo guy up top cheering on.
The ultimate hype man.
Aloha. And yeah, no, this guy, so we got Elias right now. Okay, Elias has already got the pre-grab, but he needs to do something else to go with that score.
Yeah, he needs something in the 40s
Whoa!
here. Oh my!
He's going for the switch front flip. I think he might have done some calculations himself and known he would have needed a perfect score to get up there and decided to just go for the floater switch fronty.
This one for the fans.
Wow, I mean, that was a fun one. I mean, what's not to like about that?
Yeah, pleasing to the eye. So that's gonna be a tough one for Elias just because he's making his X Games debut. We weren't sure what to expect out of him. And he was teetering with that top 2 spot early in this contest. No shame in the game, a really good showing for him out here today, making his debut.
No, not at all. That was a good showing for him. I love that pre-grab 1260 he did. It was smooth, stylish. I think the format gave him a little trouble. He's so well known in big air for that pre-grab trick, and then to have to do another trick, he doesn't maybe have another 40-point trick in his bag to back that one up with.
So the fans really putting their hands together for Ferdinand Dahl, lives 30 minutes from here.
Oh, going with the switch, Misty 9, slowing it down. He's showing off the style, having fun. Local Norwegian boy. I mean, these guys, the crowd is here for this crew. Nice and slow. I think he knows that him as well, he would have needed a huge score. Wants to style it off, giving a nice tail grab there, coming around. He's got the polo shirt on. He's here to look classy and have a good time.
I just can't get over the looks out at Big Air today. I'm a big fan of all of them.
We got Mahalo boy, we got this guy, we got Ferdinand is so smooth and stylish. The reason he does so good at slopestyle as well is that he's really technically sound on the rail. So to see him out here putting it down in big air is still really impressive.
Yeah, again, so many of the skiers we're seeing for the first time on the X Games stage here in big air. So here's Felix Oosterud.
Another Norwegian.
Has a 40 and a 31.66. A strong score here. A big third and final run could help him make some noise. He would need at least basically a 47 to ensure that he gets in that second spot.
Oh, he goes with the switch double cork 1440 again, and it looked a little bit better this time. He's smiling, he's putting his hands over his head. He's excited, look at him. Here he goes, switch double cork 1440.
Does he
gets
clean
the
it up?
mute. Let's see, let's slow it down. Mute grab, goes for the tail grab, and it looks like he gets it this time. Last time he was tickling. He's still not holding it for super long, but he's doing 2 grabs. So something a little different than everybody else. Let's see if it's enough. He's gonna need a very, very high score to get up there anywhere near Oscar. Oscar's sitting at an 86.66, so we're gonna need to see a 46.66 to match his 40 for him to get up into that second place.
That trick without the proper second grab, you see scored him a 31.66. How much does it jump him up?
We're gonna have to wait and see. It's all up to the judges now. I really like that one. Oscar, in comparison, was doing a switch 1440 as well, but doing it double misty, so diving forward, which is a difficult rotation, but this one with 2 grabs could easily be a more technical score.
Judges really taking their time with this one. A 44.66, a strong score, but just not enough to knock out Webster. He jumps up into 3rd place.
So close, but just not quite enough. And that's a good score. That's our 3rd highest score of the day. It just wasn't enough with combining the 2.
Tom, there is not a lonelier spot to be in when only 2 qualify in and you're in the 3rd spot. So here's Burke Ruud. He's got that really strong 42.33 he put down on run number 2. He's the only guy that can potentially catch Webster and get into this final.
Going for the triple cork, 1620.
Whoa!
He gets it. We weren't sure if we were going to see a triple cork in qualifying, but I said if we were going to see it from one guy, it was going to be Burke. and he is stoked. Another Norwegian, hometown boy, and look at him ripping this thing off the takeoff.
This is showmanship at the highest caliber. The only guy that could potentially knock out Wester, he needed to go for broke to jump up into that elimination spot. Of course, we know that Oscar Wester and Alex Hall still have their third and final run to go. But is this enough to jump up Berkrud?
I mean, the first triple cork we've seen today, and why that's so technical is he's doing one more full flip on that rotation than anybody else we've seen in the event today. So the technical difficulty of a triple cork is so much higher than a double cork of 46.
Oh my goodness, he does just enough to jump into that second spot.
Enough to beat Wester out, but not more than Alex. Still, he needed to throw it down on that last run, and he did.
Whoa.
Look at him. He's got all the friends and the fans and the ladies in the crowd. I mean, who wouldn't like that guy?
But here's the question now. Does he get into the final, or is it temporary excitement? Because this next guy who he just bumped out could leapfrog him back and get into that second spot. So we thought it was a pressure cooker for Berkrud. How about Oscar Wester? You just got knocked out of that final spot. Can you get back in?
Oh, I don't know. So he's already got 2 landed tricks. It looks like he's going to clean up the forward one. He's going forward, double cork, 1620, and he just goes down, unfortunately. And there's Burke. He knows with that fall, Oscar's not going to have enough to beat him, and he's into the finals here at X Games Norway.
Oh, how bittersweet. Oscar Wester had been in that second spot since run number 1. Had to be feeling good throughout the entire final attempts from everybody. And Berkrud knocks him out, and he isn't able to pull it off.
Sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. He just got a little snow snake in that landing, too. I mean, he doesn't do the 16 a lot. That was a huge trick and really needed it. It looks like Burke's going out to tell him a good job, and I'm sure that those guys are all friends, all these Scandinavians. So Alex is sitting in first, and yeah, this one's for the boys.
That's right, Saturday's for the boys. Victory drop for Alex Hall.
Oh, and just a nice cork 360. I think he was trying to show off. He does a cork 180, one of the only people in the world that does a legitimate cork 180. And I think he was trying to do that, but just had to go 3. But we've got a lot to see from Alex in the finals. He is gonna be fun to watch. Burke as well, who just barely snuck in there. He's got the triple cork. We know whether or not we see more triple corks tonight. I'm not sure. I think it's gonna be a melee.
Oh my goodness. Alex Hall, our top-ranked qualifier, left no doubt about it from his very first attempt, that 45.66, and then followed it up with the single highest scored trick of the entire contest, that 47.66. Left no doubt about it. He is our top-ranked qualifier, and you just can't say enough about Berkrud. I mean, he was in 8th place. He was the bottom rung going into that final attempt here. And what a magical comeback story for him to knock out Oscar Wester. So there is our final standings from the qualifier. Alex Hall and Berkrud moving on to tonight's final. And you think both those guys have a very strong chance here tonight?
Definitely. I mean, with those scores and the tricks we've already seen, they know what the judges are looking for. They did the qualifier, so they know what scores well. Those might be 2 good bets if you're a betting man.
Well, it's an amazing start to day 2 here at X Games Norway at Obos. Alex Hall and Berkrud moving on to tonight's final, and we're just getting started out here today. Tom Wallace, we've got so much going on with this jump. There you see the snowboarders on top. Men's snowboard qualifying up next. Same format, 8 dudes, only 2 moving on to the final. More from X Games Norway. Day number 2 rolls on after this. Guns out, jumps out. It's an Instagram filter-worthy day out here at the Obos Big Air venue as we bring you the men's snowboard Big Air qualifier on a huge day 2 of X Games Norway. What's up, everybody? Brandon Graham alongside pro snowboarder slash Canadian heartthrob Craig McMorris. Craig, this is a cutthroat qualifier. We got 8 cats out here, only 2 will be moving on to the final.
It's simply not fair, Brandon. It just simply isn't.
We don't make up the rules, but there's a quick look at the roster here today. Some big names on this list just trying to get into the final.
This qualifier unto itself is a final. You should pat yourself on the back, go home to your home country if it's not Norway, and be celebrated like a king if you make it into this. Sven Thorgren from Sweden, he will be celebrated like a king in Sweden. If he makes it in, he's got to go against top 6, though, that are already invited and have a spot in that final. The names of Mark McMorris, Marcus Cleveland, Seb Toots, Max Perot, all those guys are in the final. That's a young American, Chris Corning, vying for his way into the final here today. I just have to take a side note, Brandon. That was probably one of the best intros I've ever heard in my entire life. That was amazing.
For me,
Instagram filter, you were topical. You were
probably
fun.
a 4 or 5 for me.
Suns, guns out, jumps out. That was just a treat to watch. I forgot I was even working. I was just watching the magic of Brandon Graham.
Take a look at this big old jump. It's a scaffolding jump for the fans at home to go, how is this working? Because it looks like it's summertime in Oslo, Norway. Explain to us this jump and what it's all about.
When steel and snow collide,
What a line.
that is the equation. That's what it equals. A absolute monster of a jump. This is tough. This is not easy. You fly to Norway, you don't get to ride anything other than a 61-meter, 200-foot tall scaffolding monstrosity in which you just drop in straight, catch a whole mess of air, and have to do probably one of the hardest tricks you've ever done.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second, because as we said, there's a take a look at the course. We'll get to the format in just a second, but a lot of snowboarding in store for these guys. Talk to us about this format specifically. It's not just the 2 highest score tricks, but you gotta be able to do it different ways.
That is the thing. It's 3 runs. 2 of those 3 runs are scored. Now, if you are uneducated and haven't seen big air snowboarding, you may watch that and say, hey, looks like those guys are spinning the exact same way, doing the exact same thing every single time. But if you look closely, I'll help you look even closer. They will be doing different tricks. They'll either be spinning to the left, to the right, taking off switch, taking off regular footed.
To be fair, we're not suggesting that you could be educated and have just never seen this format.
Yeah, if you're uneducated in big air snowboarding,
Thank you for
there's a lot more people more educated than me in other stuff. I haven't met him yet, though.
There was a quick look at the judge panel, headlined by the head guy, Tom Zekas. He's our guy, always there to help us out with any scoring disputes that may rise. But there's a look at the start list. Just breathtaking views of greater Oslo, Norway that we've got to kick it around for the last couple of days. What a gorgeous place on earth to be, huh?
Nothing better than Oslo in the springtime. We were talking about this X Games, Brando. We call this one the brunch of the X Games family, you know?
You came up with this one.
I'd like to put my own tires a little bit
so
more.
if you could explain what you mean by that.
So maybe in January, the start of the year, that's breakfast. That's X Games in Aspen. Then you come to Norway, that's the brunch of it. And then obviously X Games Minneapolis, you will be getting that lunch. We saw a lot of skaters yesterday qualify and the women's event go down. We will be seeing them in Minneapolis as well. Probably not many snowboarders, though.
Our first one to drop in, making his X Games debut, Rene Rinakongas. This guy, all of 18 years old, only found out that he was riding in this contest about an hour or so ago.
That is due to another Finnish snowboarder, Rope Tonteri, unfortunately came up extremely short in practice yesterday, so he was out today. Rene Rinakongas, he's getting the nod. The 18-year-old from Finland going cab 12. That's how you set the tone.
Welcome to the X Games, Rene. Wow, a great first run here in qualifying. And again, we should also note, if you are an X Games fan, if you're a veteran of watching this, then generally you know when it comes to X Games Aspen, it's a timed jam. Sometimes they can get up to 4, 5, maybe even 6 jumps in. Not here, not today. We've got 3 runs. We count the 2 single best scores.
Rene Renekongas, he's going to be happy with that first of 2 scores that he needs. I might throw a hockey analogy at you. First shift, you either get hit or you hit somebody. You got to get into the game, and that's what Rene Renekongas does. He drops a cap 12, grabs switch stale, and I would say he hit somebody.
A 32 on the dot. I just met Rene today. A smile has been permanently placed on his face. This kid's having a good time.
Happy-go-lucky. Pleasure to be around. So is this young man right here, the Norwegian.
Emil Osletten making his 5th X Games appearance. Hard to believe a Norwegian out here in this field. I know the fans will be going crazy for him. Yet to find the podium in his X Games.
Could here be any different? Has to crack that top 2. Wow, okay. So we talked about that hockey analogy, get hit or hit somebody. Emil Osletten gets a little bit hit on this front side, 1080. Double rodeo. That was actually made famous by pro snowboarder Travis Rice. I believe he did that in a X Games Big Air in Aspen. He called that the disco flip, I believe. Taking off the toes, going full double cork 1080. You don't see anybody else doing that, that's for sure.
So a 5, Emil putting pressure on himself. Again, you only get 3 runs. You got to have different movements, different rotations. So he's got to come out and land something big on his 2nd run. You can't mess around in this qualifier. Sebe de Boek, one of our absolute favorites. He made his X Games debut in Aspen in both slopestyle and big air out of Antwerp, Belgium. The tallest snowboarder out here today.
And the heaviest. Unfortunately, not putting that one down. Looking for something backside-ish. I didn't know if he's going back 9 double or back 1080 double. Now, the Belgian struggling with that takeoff. And what do I mean by struggling with the takeoff? Well, that is the lip of the jump, the last part the rider rides off of before he is in the air. That is a crucial moment for execution. That is where you get all the snap. You'll see the best in the world pop, explode off that. But when it's like this, the temperature, it's not your friend. It's very, very slushy, hard for Sebe to get that rotation.
That was such a pumped up kid who just received a Sebe de Boek autograph.
I would be too.
I hope he's not going straight to eBay with it. So here's Marcus Olmstad making his 2nd X Games appearance. Finished in 17th place when we last saw him back in 2016 here in Oslo. So he lands his 1st run. One of our Norwegian riders out here today, so the fans will obviously get a little bit louder. Cap 10 mute. Again, sometimes it's just about getting that first trick score so you don't have to be chasing something uber massive on 2 and 3.
That's correct, Brandon. You got to set the tone. It's that 2 scores combined. You can't do the same trick either. You can't just go back-to-back cap 10.
Yeah, so a 15 for Olmstad. Obviously, a score like that is not going to hold up, but sometimes just for a confidence boost to land your first run of a drop-in in qualifiers and X Games, you can't speak to that enough.
I can't. You spoke to it.
Takaru Otasuka making his X Games debut.
What can you say about the Japanese? I mean, they have absolutely made their presence known. Thought to be a half-pipe nation for a number of years.
That's
no more.
completely been changed.
He's going front trip right out the gate. Okay, he knows.
Takaru.
He understands that, hey, I'm going to need probably my best 2 jumps I have ever jumped in a big air event, and he swings for the fences on 1.
Can we speak to that strategy for a second? Because there are some familiar names in this list that we expect to be vying for that final spot. A guy like Chris Corning or a Mons Roysland or a Sven Torgren. Someone like this who we haven't seen on the X Games stage before, but we know has a lot of promise. Can you speak to that mindset of, hey, I'm just gonna go for it and see what happens because you all aren't expecting me to get to the big show anyway.
It's that beautiful position, nothing to lose, so why not go for everything?
Sven Torgren, a gold medal in slopestyle at X Games Norway last year out of Stockholm, Sweden, making his 6th X Games appearance.
Sven Torgen, he's got that backside rotation locked in. Unfortunately not landing that one first of 3 jumps. Going backside 1440, grabbing a stale fish. That's that backhand on the heel side edge.
And something we do want to keep our eyes on when it comes to Sven, we haven't seen him in a few months. He had that broken right collarbone that kept him out of X Games and unfortunately out of the Olympics. This is his first major competition, really, of 2018.
Really struggled with that injury. It's taken a lot longer than earlier anticipated for him to get back into competition form, but it's good to see him out here in Oslo, Norway, hitting this big monster.
So here's the Silverthorne, Colorado native, the lone American in this qualifying field, 18 years old, Chris Corning. Now, he made his X Games debut in Aspen, but make no mistake, this isn't a guy who's just happy to be here. He expects to get on the podium, and he had a top 5 finish in Aspen.
That's how you back triple right there. That's how you do it. If you're at home, that's how you do it. Snaps right off the takeoff, grabbing Mellon there. I mean, this is just Chris Corning. This is his bread and butter. I want to see what he's going to do next. Everybody's got one big heater. You need two, and you need to put him down solid if you want to even get into that final.
And let's not forget, this guy, it feels like he just got on the scene. He just missed out on the podium at the Olympics. Had 4th place in Pyeongchang in big air.
So a huge year for Chris Corning, looking to put the cherry on top here at X Games Norway, if you will, Brando.
A major 40 that immediately puts him up to the top of the list. Chris Corning's feeling good, and you just saw that, even that wave, there was a level of confidence like, yeah, I'm glad I'm here, but I expect to be in the final.
So does this young man, this Norwegian, doing it for that home crowd. He expects to be in the final. He has been in finals at the X Games before, Brando.
Yeah, Mons Roysland, 21 years old, in his 6th X Games appearance, has 1 medal that he earned in slopestyle, a bronze. Did it as an X Games rookie, as a matter of fact, back in 2016. Trying to get back there.
What did he do it with? A switch backside 16 triple. They're going switch backside 1260 double cork. So definitely pulling the reins back, but unfortunately not putting that down. That landing is definitely giving people trouble. A lot of guys aren't used to snowboarding in +10, +15 degrees Celsius weather.
And in Fahrenheit terms, just so I can follow along,
I have absolutely no idea.
it's short sleeve weather. Mons with that 4.66. So again, outside really of Chris Corning and the rookie, Rene Rinacongas, no one really landing anything of merit. Obviously, Marcus Olmstad landing something, but he's going to have to jump it up. So we'll have to see what we've got in store on run number 2. Let's head down to the 3rd member of our team, Jack Mitrani, who's up at the top of the jump. Jack, what do you got?
Rene, what is it like hitting the scaffolding? I'm standing up here. I'm kind of freaking out just standing up here. What's it like hitting this thing?
Well, it's pretty okay. I mean, it's +20 or over, so it's pretty nice that it's slushy. So, yeah, it's not that scary, at least for me.
Not that scary for you. Definitely scary for me standing up here. And you're a rookie here at X Games. What's your rookie experience like?
Oh, it's been really nice. I mean, this is first time in X Games, and yeah, unfortunately, Robert is injured, so. But
You're the first alternate.
yep, yeah.
But now you're in.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy to ride here. So.
I love to see how happy you are. Before you drop in, you look like a puppy dog. You're so happy. Are you happy up here or what?
Yep, really happy. Thank you.
All right, well, good luck in run number 2. Back to you guys.
Thank you.
Rene making his X Games debut and currently holding on to that 2nd spot. Will it continue? We find out more from X Games Norway after this. A stunning downtown Oslo, Norway plays host to a gigantic day 2 here at X Games Norway. We are right in the midst, Craig McMorris, of men's snowboard big air qualifier. We got 8 guys out here, only 2 moving on to the men's final a little later tonight, where they'll be squaring off against some of the big dogs. There you see how you get up on this scaffolding jump. You could take the stairs.
I did.
Which you did. I can tell you're still out of breath. Or you can jump in this lift, as they say in Europe. I call it an elevator.
They're wacky over here. We just don't know what's coming, eh?
So right now, if you're just joining us, Chris Corning, the American out of Colorado, stomping out that 40. He's got the lead. But this next young man, Rene Renekongas, just got the call from the bullpen a mere hour before the event to come in to replace Rope Tunturi. He's holding on to that 2 spot, aka the elimination spot. You're right where you want to be if you can stay on that 2 spot when it's all said and done. That's where he is right now. Very impressive, 32 on run 1.
Rene Renekongas dropping in, initiating that backside 10-12. I was counting up, but he was falling down. Unfortunately for Rene Renekongas, he's going to have to throw that one out. What goes wrong here, Brando?
Yeah,
well, he has to let go of the grab quite early. See him put his arms up above his head. That was not intended. He's, at this point, just trying to keep that face of the snowboard down and ride away. So 32 on run 1. Not so much on run 2.
Talk to us about the landing issues. We've really only seen 3 cleanly landed runs so far here in the qualifier.
Well, it's hard to manicure that snow up to such a high level. Jack Matrani described the landing as a little bit gamey. It's a little bit tough.
So Emil Usletten, currently in 6th place, did not land his first run. Gotta put something down right now.
This is what is so difficult about that format. If you don't have 1 run landed, you're shaking in your snowboard boots to land number 2, but Emil Usletten, make no mistake, he stopped shaking in his boots right there. That is such a crazy trick, Brando.
The Norwegian crowd giving it up for their countrymen. What makes it so wild?
That's like a frontside double rodeo.
Not like, is.
It is. Just the way he rotates his frontside rodeos is so different from everybody else. He takes off forward, and instead of like really front flipping, he kind of makes his shoulders do a front flip and his head looks up to the sky. It's so awkward to do that, and I guarantee you, bet my bottom dollar, nobody else will rotate like that here today.
We're expecting a very strong score there for Emil. Will obviously replace that fall from run 1.
I'm just going to go ahead and guess it's going to be behind Corning, ahead of Renekongas.
35.33. Whoa. Should take you out to the casinos.
It's almost like I get paid to do this, Brando.
Emil Usletten with a very strong 35.33. And here's Sebe de Boek, sitting in 8th place. Just didn't look comfortable on run number 1. No confidence that you could kind of see even midway through the jump. It was, this is not going to end well for me. What can he do here? Does he go back to that well, the same trick?
He does. He needs to clean up the takeoff, and he does that. Switchback 9 double, and I spoke too soon. I'm sorry, Sebe de Boek. I spoke too soon. I thought he had that landed.
Well, when you're 6'4", 198 pounds, that's 90 kg. You gotta keep that balance.
You gotta keep that balance on that switchback 9 double. Such a sick trick. It looks like he had it, but as we're talking about, that landing is unforgiving. If you're not absolutely perfectly balanced, it's gonna buck you. And Sebe de Boek gets bucked.
It's like he's waving right at me. So you need 2 big scores, and he's got 2 missed runs so far. Tough day for Sebe de Boek. So here's Marcus Olmstad, who landed his first run. Not of much consequence, though, but we wondered, hey, maybe this is just something to knock off the nerves of dropping in only your 2nd X Games appearance.
Olmstad swinging for the fences here, and again, that landing takes no prisoners. Olmstad looks like he put it down a little bit. Heel heavy. Watch him just get that last rotation on that cab 12. lands with a lot of weight on that heels, and
Right.
that landing punches back. Okay, you got to be ready for retaliation. I don't think that is going to get you in the top two. So tough for Olmstad.
So he's sitting in fourth again. Only the top two from this group of 8 will be moving on to meet the 6 already qualified. We're talking about guys like Mark McMorris, Marcus Cleveland, Sebastian Toutant, the heaviest of hitters. Takeru Otsuka, out of Japan, 17 years old, making his X Games debut.
Taking off left foot forward, dropping a front triple like it's his day job, because it is. Takeru, he wants to get in the finals, and that's what you've got to do to get in there. We saw Chris Corning sitting in first place currently with that back triple. Well, what does Takeru do? He adds a front triple to the equation. I'm not good at math, but that's crazy.
He says that that is his favorite trick to do.
I don't believe that,
And you
personally.
can
I'm sorry. I'm just going to go ahead and call that out. There's
You
no
can see
way a front triple on this beast of a scaffolding jump is fun. That just looks frightening.
You know, we were talking about Japanese riders and how it used to always be about the half pipe, and now we've seen that transition into slope and big air. And a big reason why, he's been living in Frisco, Colorado. He's been training at Breck. He's very good friends with Red Gerard, and you're starting to see that influence take shape. Wow, the single highest score we've seen of the day, 42.66. Skyrockets Otsuka from 7th to 1st.
He's sitting pretty, Brando. That's probably the best place you want to be in, is first place.
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Second's okay, third's not bad.
They're not as good as first, though.
Yeah. If you're not first, you're last, but you could be second, third, fourth. Heck, you could be 5th.
Sven Torgen, he wants to be first. He's going back 14. Stale fish, make no mistake.
I feel like he's been here before.
He has, and it's like he's done that trick 4 billion times. That's a 1440, folks. That's 4 full rotations. Look at the takeoff. This is where he sets himself apart. So explosive, snaps off the lip and makes no mistake. The reason a lot of these guys are doing this backside rotation, especially to the 1440, is on the landing. Look at this, how he gets to look at the landing for a lot longer than maybe you would on a frontside triple cork. Sven Torgen, he takes a good look at the landing and says, hey, I'm here to play.
Sven, no stranger to the X Games stage, but his success has come in slopestyle, where he's medaled twice, including a win last year in Norway. Yet to find the podium in big air. Right now, he's just trying to get into the finals of 41. So that puts him up into that 2 spot.
As we predicted, Brando, this qualification will be cutthroat, and it has not disappointed thus far.
We wondered if Chris Corning was going to get pushed. This is a guy that we fully anticipated making it in the final. Right now, he's on the outside looking in, but had a very strong 40 on his opening run.
What can Chris Corning add to the backside? Triple cork 1440. I have absolutely no idea. I'm as surprised as you are. He's going frontside 1440. Okay. Oh no, revert again. This landing. This is like a Saskatchewan dirt road, full of bumps and unexpected turbulence. I'm from Saskatchewan, so
Yeah, you can say
I
that.
don't know if you don't know.
That's a
where.
little inside. It's a little
That's
inside.
a little
Craig.
inside baseball. Sorry, guys. Chris Corning trying to drop a frontside 1440. Unfortunately, that revert at the end, although he didn't fall, Brando, when you see that replay, he reverts. So he lands one direction, and then the landing forces him to change that direction. That's pretty much a fault of the judges.
Here's the thing, and it is a fall, and it's an 18, but given his 40, that actually does technically, at least for the time being, jump him up into first place. But you bet your bottom dollar he's going to want to have to replace that if he wants to move on to the final. Mons Roysland, sitting in 8th, did not land that first run, needs a big one right here, right now. This was a guy that we fully expected as a Norwegian out here in Norway to make it into the final.
The format of this qualification is such a beast. I mean, if you don't land that first run, your entire event is in jeopardy on run 2.
Oh, no, Mons.
Mons Roysland, that is so tough to see. He will have another run, but he mathematically is totally eliminated from the event, Brando.
Right, even a perfect 50 wouldn't beat the likes of Chris Corning or Otsuka at the moment.
What goes wrong? Well, this landing is just so unforgiving. I'm going to say it once, I'm going to say it a million times. If you land with a little bit too much weight on the toe edge, the heel edge, see ya.
So just not Mons Roislin's day. And just like that, we're moving, partner. 2 runs in here in this 3-run qualifier. Can you believe it?
I don't want it to be over.
You can stick around. Chris Corning still leading the way with that 58, but Takeru Otsuka putting the entire field on notice with the single highest score, that 42.66.
Sven Torgren obviously on the outside, but he is so close and ever so talented. He wants to get on the inside, Brando.
We'll find out after this.
In one of the smallest Nordic countries you never knew existed, an event is going down harder than anything has ever gone down ever before throughout the history of mankind. This is a country of freedom and justice, certified and amplified by the 17th of May, Constitution Day. We answer one question, and that is, how do we push the limits of human existence to the max? That question and more will be answered at the X Games Norway.
It's T-minus 1.
Let's get the hell out of here, because it's dead anyways.
It's time for that one moment, that one shot. Nerves of steel, third and final attempt time here at the men's snowboard big air qualifier. Only 2 will be moving on to tonight's final here at the Obos Big Air venue. Right now, Takaru Otsuka has the single highest score. He's feeling very good. Chris Corning's been right there. Sven Torgren put on a huge one, but it's not over yet, Craig McMorris.
It's not over yet because this final, although unforgiving if you don't land your first and second run, it really puts the ball in those guys' court who have a couple scores in the bank. Now they can really swing for the fences. They know they are up in that 1, 2, 3 range. Rene Renekongas as well in that 4th place. They have the ability now on run 3 to go all out and hopefully find themselves in that final later tonight. Will you have energy to be up there, partner?
Yeah, it's a long day, but I'm enjoying it. We're in Oslo. I can't think of a better place, not just in Norway, in the world I'd rather be than right here, right now. So we reverse the start order based off of scored trick. Mons Roysland yet to land anything. 2 falls before run number 3. Just hasn't been his day. Hoping to put on a better show in front of the home country. Right now, pride's on the line, Craig.
Pride is on the line, and you can't blame Mons Roysland. Was attempting extremely difficult tricks in run 1 and run 2. That switch backside rotation, one of the toughest ways you can initiate rotation on a snowboard. And then what do you do to that? You add plus 20 weather. The jump takeoff is a little bit sticky. Everybody here building this scaffolding jump they're amazing.
Right.
Snow's just not meant to be in plus 20 weather.
Yeah.
There are challenges with that.
Someone told me earlier today, God bless chemistry.
Well, it's true. It's a lot of chemistry to get that snow out here, keep it manicured, keep it maintained. But that being said, there still will be challenges. I mean, you're trying to spin switch backside, initiate a double cork, triple cork. There will be some falls in Mons Roysland, obviously suffering 2 out of a possible 2 falls.
So after a top 10 finish in Aspen, where he took 7th place in Big Air, he will not be moving on to the final. Here's Seve to book. Thought we had a landing in place on run number 2, and that might have completely changed the strategy for him moving into this one. What do you think we're going to see from Seve?
I think we're going to see something along the lines of what we saw from Mons Roysland, that method. This is just for the crowd. This is just for the folks down at the bottom. Or he can truck a double front flip.
Yes!
You crazy person. Seve to buck. That was fully lawn darted, Brando.
Yeah, he always warns us that he's going to put that trick down in competition at some point.
So he knows mathematically he's not going to make it into that final. Why not put on a show for not only the fans, but us as well? Look at him open up on that second double front flip.
Just a tall glass of water in the air, isn't he?
He's a real piece of work, that one.
So the double front for Seve de book. It gets the crowd fired up.
Gets us fired up, too.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie to you. But he's always all smiles. One of the most fun-loving snowboarders you can know. He's everybody's best friend.
Yeah, he really is, and he's everywhere. He loves X Games too. In Aspen, he was watching everything. Last night I saw him over at Skur 13 watching the skate. He really enjoys the atmosphere. Okay, so here's Marcus Olmstad. Right now, he's got a 15 and an 8. Gotta land something big.
He's going back 12, attempting a tail grab, not quite getting that, and then having to revert multiple times in that landing there. Marcus Olmstad not looking good here in run 3. Unfortunately for him to get a berth into the finals. You'd see him reaching for that tail grab, but he knew he didn't really have the rotation if he committed fully to the grab. So he has to just give a little tickle and then get going.
So unfortunately, another Norwegian, Marcus Olmstad, does not look to be moving on into the final. That's a respectful applause, isn't it?
That is nice. That's
just
a good
all in
golf
unison.
clap.
It was great.
Yeah, everybody looked him in the eye. Straight shooters out here.
All right, now we're getting to the big show. Rene Renekongas, he's sitting in 4th place, had a very strong 32. Now, if he lands anything quasi-solid you'll actually potentially see him move up into first place, at least temporarily.
I like to call him MC Ran, but I don't like to see that takeoff. That was just a backside 900. I think he wanted more. He wanted a lot more on that takeoff, but he couldn't really get going. Let's take a look. See how his edge kind of just shuffles a little bit there? You need to be so solid on this thing if you want to get something of value. That's just cat-like reflexes to save it at that point, to just put down a back 9 and stay on your feet.
But again, Craig, where nobody has lit this thing on fire both runs consecutively, it's not crazy to think that any sort of score here could at least potentially move him into that 2 spot, and then you just sort of sit and wait.
Crazier things have happened, Brando. So he is currently in that number 2 spot with a 13.33. You're good at math, man. I love that about you.
So his day's done. You would think that you'd be feeling good on that with a single score. Now he's got to sit on that with both of his scores. Here's Emil Usletten sitting in 5th, had a very strong run, number 2. What can we expect out of Emil here where it counts the most?
Well, we've seen him try that double rodeo on jumps 1 and 2. Now we see him drop in, go backside 12. Oh. And the story of this qualifier thus far is that landing is tough.
Yeah,
if you're not landing absolutely perfect, and he tries to just squeak it around for that 1260, switch back 12, pardon me.
Emil, of course, from the same hometown as Marcus Cleveland. About a 4.5-hour drive. I haven't done it out here.
4:45
yeah,
probably,
okay.
yeah.
So now it gets really interesting, Craig, because Renee's in that 2nd spot with just a 45.33. That's it.
Yeah.
So we've still got Sven and Sven Torgren and Takaru still to go. Obviously, Chris Corning sitting in that 1st spot. It'll be really interesting to see what Chris Corning does here. Just really, if he lands anything of consequence, trying to replace that 18, he should be feeling really good with his chances of getting into the final.
And he's got, he's got the tricks to be in that final. That back triple he started things off with, then that front side 1440. I don't really like the way he grabs that method. Kind of really arches his back, but I like the way he lands a front side 1440. I mean, that pretty much just go ahead and punch your ticket to the finals. You're playing with the big boys later tonight, Chris Corning.
And it's only fitting if Chris Corning does make it into the final, because I think his season was really set off in late 2017 when he won the opening World Cup Big Air in Milan on a scaffolding jump.
He is a big air rider. He's built for this. Back 14, front 14, make no mistake. He's got a nice collar too. He's got a pop. No, not quite pop.
He's wearing a button-up woven underneath the bib. I like the look.
It's an interesting strategy,
I actually
Brandon.
saw him wearing the same shirt on Constitution Day a couple of days ago.
May 17th?
Yeah. You were there.
I was there.
Came late.
They were there too. This esteemed judging panel.
Ooh, Tom Zekas and the crew. What are they giving? A 36. So a 76 keeps him in 1st place. But again, there's still 2 guys that are left to drop in that can really shake things up.
Otsuka and Torgren.
So here's Sven Torgren. He's got that 41. Okay, Rene Rinikangas is sitting in 2nd with a 45.33. So not great at math, but methinks at least a 5 would actually put him up in the 2nd. I think he wants more than a 5 though, Craig.
Oh no, uh-oh, okay. Here, this is where we saw the judges right there. This is why they have one of the toughest jobs in the business.
Yes,
Sven Torgren
looked good in the air. Then what happens here?
Okay, take a look at this landing on this 1260 here. See how much weight he has on his toes? The ability that he even saved that is pretty psycho, actually. Kind of defies a little piece of wizardry from the Swede here to not revert, and he doesn't quite revert, but almost kind of does. Are they going to give it to him? Are they going to let that be a land?
Tough decision for this judging panel right now.
I don't think I would give it to him just because he looks so out of control in the landing, but that's maybe why I'm in here. We'll wait and see.
With that, we can almost say with absolute confidence that Chris Corning will be qualifying through.
We will see Chris Corning tonight for sure. Will we see Rene Renekongas or Sven Torgren? They're taking their time on this one, Brandon. They really got to look at this thing.
And remember, Takeru Otsuka still left to drop in, who could also shake things up for that 2 spot. As we await Sven's score, is it enough? It is a 20.33. So even with the bobble there at the end, it moves him up into that 2nd spot. But will it be temporary? Chris Corning is moving on, that much we know. Is Sven Torgren going to be moving on to the final? Takeru Otsuka, 17 years old, making his X Games debut, has a chance to crash this party right now. Put down a ridiculous 42.66. A 20 would get him in.
Well, okay, all right, Chris Corning, you're qualifying 2nd because Takeru Otsuka's qualifying 1st. Front triple, cab triple. I'm dumbfounded, Brando.
Takeru, where did you come from?
Where did you go? Takeru Joe here. Cab triple 1440.
We talked about this kid off the top. Really special talent, had been training in Breckenridge with Red Gerard, finally getting this opportunity. He was an alternate in Aspen. Now finally hitting the big stage. Odds stacked against him in this qualifier.
You couldn't say it better. Odds stacked against him. When you take
That's
a look at all the when you take a look at all those names in there and you can only pick 2 to go to the final, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Not many people were picking Takeru.
I didn't. And I feel terrible, Takeru, because you deserve to go to the final. 87.99 total score, Brando. Do you believe in miracles?
87.99. The 2 highest single scores belong to that teenager right there, Otsuka. Qualifies 1st overall, and Chris Corning with that 2nd spot. Those 2 moving into the final. Wow.
If this final is anything like the qualifier, we're in for a tasty treat, and I got a sweet tooth. It's something fierce.
Delicious. Takeru Otsuka, Chris Corning moving in. How about Sven Torgren? Just unable to put it down, stick that landing, what could have been, maybe even bumping out Chris Corning. But there you see, 8 guys. It's a ruthless format.
And we're just getting started, Brando. X Games Norway, just getting underway.
So qualifiers done, finals coming up here from X Games Norway.